What's going on, Nittany Nation? Welcome to the Penn State Rivals YouTube channel. I am Josh Taylor, one of the contributors here at Penn State Rivals, and I just wanted to do a quick video, nothing too crazy, about a subject that has been looming large, especially recently with the loss to Ohio State this past weekend, and that is, should Penn State move on to finally starting quarterback Drew Allar over Sean Clifford? Now, I am totally a Sean Clifford supporter, but yes, the argument can be made that you know what you get with Sean Clifford and that you need to start seeing what you can get out of Drew Allar moving forward, and that the rest of the season could be crucial in his growth and development as the starting guy next year. So you watch the game this weekend against Ohio State, and of course, the one thing that really stands out is the 3 interceptions. Now, outside of that, he balled out stats-wise, putting up 371 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it seemed like it was the early struggles, but still Penn State's defense allowed them to stay in the game. Now you look at how the interceptions happen. The first one, JT just causing havoc the entire game, getting that pass up in the air. I don't put that on Sean Clifford, that first one. I think that happens to a lot of people. It's just a big-time heads-up play by JT Tuimoloau to get his hand up and tip it over to the other guy to intercept it. The second one was pretty aggressive by Sean Clifford. I think the wide receiver still had a chance to get it, but it's like the corner just kind of cut it off and read it. So kind of ball placement wise, I want Sean Clifford to put it to the outside there. And I think it was a little bit late too. I think he held on to that one a little bit too long. Didn't really get through his progressions quick enough. But still, I do put that one on Sean Clifford, but still a great heads-up play by the defender to kind of cut it off and just rip that interception away. And then the third one, who JT once again, it was a screen to, I want to say it was Parker Washington. He was getting blocked and just completely threw right tackle out of the way for Penn State, pushed him off, went up and got it. A big-time athletic play. Once again, I'm not putting that one on Sean Clifford. That was a freak athletic play by JT to get that interception and run it back. If you watch the play, you see Sean Clifford takes it. He looks to the left to kind of draw the defense off while the play develops to the right with the screen to Parker Washington. And then he comes back, and the play was there. It's just you need your right tackle to be blocking JT to where the play is set up. Then he can let go of him once everything happens. You don't get a holding call or anything. Parker Washington gets it, and he gets upfield. Penn State actually does that a lot on offense. You'll see these screens. They do that pretty often. But the thing is, for me, it's where you are in the season. You lost to Michigan. You lost to Ohio State. Those are the 2 you need, obviously, to get to the Big Ten championship. You only have 4 games left. You have Indiana at home. Then you go Indiana at Indiana, Maryland at home, at Rutgers, and then Michigan State at home to end the season. So the way you look at it is, obviously, what is at risk if you start Drew Allar? Right now, I don't really see much. People will say, oh, well, maybe he's not ready. And of course, that's up to the coaches. That's up to Jurgich, and that's up to James Franklin and the coaching staff, just his development to see where he is. But the small things that we've seen out of Drew Allar this season, there's a lot of positive things. There's a couple things like, all right, he might have forced that one, put a little bit too much juice on that one. I want him to kind of go through his progressions a little bit more. But pocket awareness and everything seems so good. So far so good, just, kind of feeling things out. But like I said, it's such a small sample size, what we've seen from Drew. We haven't gotten a full sample of what to expect out of him, against a team like Ohio State or Michigan. Indiana has a pretty good defense. Maryland is a pretty good team, but still, I feel like Penn State should be favored in these last 4 games, especially playing Maryland at home. And like I said, Indiana, Rutgers on the road, and then at Michigan. At home against Michigan State. So I look at it like this: is what do the coaches have to lose? Obviously, you don't start him against Minnesota right before Ohio State or something like that, because that's a big time game. If you beat Ohio State, you're still in the mix. Going to the Big Ten championship, like you still have a lot to play for. But right now you have 2 losses. I get it. Maybe the weight of the bowl game that you end up playing at the end of the season is up for grabs. But still, like, how much is really that important? It should be a lot. And of course, to the coaches it is. You don't want James Franklin, losing 2 or 3 more games at the end of the season. Losing 2 games on the entire season is big. That's big time, especially if the 2 that you lost were to just Ohio State and Michigan. Like, they weren't favored in either of those games. So it's kind of like you took care of business where you wanted to. Obviously, you want to win those 2 big games, but you just couldn't get it done. So the way I really look at it is I think these next 4 games could be big time for Drew Allar and his development. I'm a big guy when it comes to, especially in the draft, when you're looking at quarterbacks. I'll go back to Trey Lance. I didn't think he deserved to go where he was taken based off of traits alone. He didn't have the in-game reps. There was very, very limited sample size to Trey Lance, and it's starting to show. I tell people all the time, you can't just make up, the in-game experience, the in-game reps for a quarterback. You just have to go through it. You have to go through the motions, the highs, the lows, throwing the interceptions, the big-time plays, the touchdowns, getting hit, going through your progressions, knowing the adjustments the defense makes, knowing how to go through all the steps of a quarterback, because it happens so fast. The quarterback position is obviously the hardest position in all of football, because the way you think about it, you have to look at the defense before the snap. You have to communicate to your guys. You have to make sure everyone's on the same page. You got someone in the ear the whole time talking to you. You're going through, the defense makes a change. You have to figure out what's going on. You have to look at your matchups. You have to read the defense in seconds. And you have to deliver the perfect pass to who you want to get it to in seconds, while you have someone running at you, trying to get the ball away from you, and guys in the backfield, in the secondary, trying to pick it off. So it's tough. But that's why I think it is time that James Franklin really looks at it and says, look, this is a move that we have to make, not for this season, but the long term, for the Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, for the offensive line that you have that's playing very well this season, and then all the recruits you have coming in next year. You might lose, Olu. He's only 19. He's a big-time tackle in the draft boards right now. But then you have, Bam Bam, Jevin Williams, and Alex Bergmeyer coming in. You have some big-time recruits on the offensive line. So I think offensive line-wise, you're going to be set the rest of this season. Like, it's strong enough to play him right now, to where you're not afraid, like, the past few years where you're like, oh, man, if we put another quarterback out there, he's going to get killed. Like, Sean Clifford had to run for his life a couple times. He took some big-time hits that he didn't really need to. So I think right now it's set where you want it to be. And then also look at, like I said, the running back committee with Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen and even Kevon Lee. You have a good balance, and they've been, killing it so far this year, just their first year. So you have that balance of a running game that really helps out your quarterback. Then you look at your wide receivers. Mitchell Tinsley's gone. Parker Washington's probably gone. Theo Johnson, Brenton Strange. You have a lot of experience. Keandre Lambert-Smith, big-time game against Ohio State. You have a very veteran group that can help out your quarterback. And I think that is what really pushes me for Drew, because you don't know what they look like next year. And I get it. You have the whole offseason. There's still more work to be done. But I think playing at Indiana would be big. I think playing at home against Maryland, against, Talia Tagovailoa, seeing what he looks like and, just going back and forth in a battle, I think that's big. If you lose a game or two with Drew Allar, it's okay. It's not like James Franklin's going anywhere. Like, he has big-time contract, recruits his tail off, whether you love him or you hate him. Like, he's a good coach. You can't just go out there and get some improvement from James Franklin. So I don't think coaching-wise, when it comes to losing games this year, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, he rolled Drew out there. We lost against Maryland. We're coming for his head. We need a buyout. No, I don't see that. Like, you're playing your 5-star quarterback and getting those game reps in. And it's not like, once again, like, this is Sean Clifford's last year. You have to take the emotional part away from it. Like, yes, this is his last dance. Like, he's not going to go to the NFL. He's not going to get drafted, some big-time quarterback, anything like that. This is his last dance. Do you want to pull him early? Why not? Like, if you would have beat Ohio State or Michigan, it's a different ball game. But you drop both of those. Now you're just playing for a better bowl game. You're not playing to get to the Big Ten championship. You're not, trying to slide into the playoffs when, it opens up in the next few years towards 12 teams. You have a better chance at that. So I think looking at your team next year, CJ Stroud's gone. Michigan's going to lose some people. Blake Corum, that offensive line is going to, go through a lot of changes. A lot of Big Ten teams are going to go through a lot of changes, and you're one of them, Penn State. The receivers, like I said, offensive line is going to look different. But that defense, you're going to lose some big-time playmakers on defense too. But to get that head start for Drew Allar so you can see what you got, see what you need to work on in-game, practice is totally different than in-game. 100% different. And 4 games is a really good sample size to look at. It's not like you're just throwing them out there against Michigan State or half of a game against Indiana or just the fourth quarter against Maryland or Rutgers, whatever. That's not what you get out of them. You need a full game of Drew Allar. So I think it is time. And it's nothing against Sean Clifford. It's honestly more so of the season. And, there's really no big time prize that's at risk anymore. Like I said, going to the Big Ten championship. So start your 5-star quarterback, get things going while you have a complete team on offense, wide receiver, offensive line, tight end, running back, whatever, and see what you got in the guy. So I say pull the plug. I don't think they will. I don't know. We've got videos here on the channel of Coach Franklin talking. He said some things earlier that kind of changed the tone about the quarterback position on his thoughts. He said, we're going to, play whoever gives us the best chance to go 1-0 this week. And against Indiana, I think it could be either quarterback. I think Drew Allar could beat Indiana, but, he's been big time on Sean Clifford this season, rightfully so. That's your guy. That he puts it on the line, just all out there every single week. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think, and I think Sean Clifford would support it too. I don't think it would be like some, this is my last 4 games. I get it's emotional, whatever. But you have to, make a business decision. So let me know what y'all think. This was just my quick thoughts. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on it. I don't think they're going to make a change this weekend. Maybe Maryland, maybe Rutgers, maybe Michigan State. We'll see. Maybe if they go up enough on Indiana to where you can play like the fourth quarter or whatever. But still, it's just not enough for me. So drop your comments. Let me know what you think. We will keep an eye on it. Subscribe to the channel and like. And like I said, check out all the other videos we have here on the channel as we post up player interviews as they get ready for week matchups and they talk about their previews, what they think, opposing coaches. And then James Franklin himself. We have everything here on the YouTube channel for Penn State Rivals. So we will see y'all next time on the channel.